Continuing our conversations about things that none of you probably want to hear about because it's not spiritual woo-woo. Listen, there's over 200 videos throughout this channel that you can watch for spiritual woo-woo. And I'm a spiritual woo-woo kind of guy. That's the reason why these videos are here. But also, I am somebody that's living my experience to the fullest, whether that be with ego or not. So it's up to you whether you want to listen. But continuing on other important things that are happening in this experience, let's talk about Donald Trump and his team. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat, that this isn't against Donald Trump. I don't believe that any president, sitting or not sitting, can be fully responsible for the things that go on. Yes, they have to sign into law and blah, 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 but when it really comes down to it, no president really makes any decisions. I know that we would all like to think that they do, but yeah, they'll make one here or two, but most policies are written by the people that they have surrounding them. And usually it's something that benefits the people that are surrounding them. It may benefit the president as well, which it probably will a lot of times during a Trump presidency. But it did during the Biden and everybody else. It definitely did during the Bush years. But what I'm getting at is these other people that are around him that are saying, hey, we should do this, we should do that. And he's, oh yeah, that's a good idea. You know, he doesn't really know anything about it. And I'm not calling Trump stupid. Like I said, this could be any side of the aisle. But the president looks at it and he's like, oh yeah. You see Trump doing it all the time. You got to shake his head. Yep, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. He has no idea what he's talking about. Neither did Biden, neither did any of the other ones. Like I said, this is not a bash against Trump. What this is the problem is that when we elect officials, we elect the close personal aides of the sitting president. I'm talking about the people that you don't really hear their names, but they're in the ears. And when those people start coming up with these rules that, you know, they'll tell you, well, it was a campaign promise and all that, blah, blah. But the funny thing is that the campaign promise was that he was going to end the war in Ukraine within the first day. Some people were saying, I think it was the first week, but whatever. But he didn't do that. He didn't end the Israeli war either, no matter what everybody thinks that somehow he did that. And it wasn't Biden either, just to make that clear. That was Qatar, the government of Qatar that did that. But anyways, the problem is that now you are either a boy or you are a girl. That took precedence over the threat of possible World War III and nuclear annihilation. Was you are a boy and you are a girl. Because somebody within his party, actually a few people within his party and a few people within his little inner circle are against that. And they don't have no problem with you being trans. They have a problem with you labeling that you're trans. And the reason why is because, I'll give you from my point of view, it's because from what I've heard from Trump friends is that they're sick and tired of you asking for more. They're not cool with how you're pushing a different agenda now. And they're seeing it in their school systems and all that. Listen, I'm not blaming them and I'm not blaming anybody that ever listens to this that might be trans. But the problem is that if you push too far, certain people are going to get offended real easily. And that is definitely the party of MAGA. So before anything else was accomplished, that was the first thing that was accomplished. Even before ICE. See, that's the funny thing too, is this boy-girl thing. People think that it happened afterwards. It was actually signed into effect before the ICE thing happened. Okay? And who do you think made that really happy? Not just his little people whispering in his ear, but who do you think really got really happy over that? The right-wing Christian conservative groups. The ones that have been pushing the whole time that he is the next Jesus incarnate. So what you need to worry about, skipping ahead over all that crap, what you need to worry about now is, what else does a Christian nation want? Because it starts off with, you are a boy, or you are a girl now, and that is it, and there's no other. And then it goes to, you are either a Christian, or you are an atheist. But I'm Muslim. No, you're either a Christian, or you're an atheist. Well, what do you mean? Because you either believe in our God, or you don't, but you can't believe in another, so you're an atheist. Maybe they'll let some agnostics in, but do you see where this is going? People say, well, this is a stretch, man. Is it, though? Is it? You literally just told millions of people that they can no longer be called a boy or a girl unless they are originally that at birth. Now, that may not seem like a big thing, but there are a lot of trans people in this country that are going to have to change their entire life around now because of that. Okay? That is a huge huge thing. That would be like if they said to you, you're not white anymore, you're now black. What do you mean? On my license it says that I'm white. Yeah, you have to get that changed. Okay. You are either a Christian or you are an atheist. That'll be next. You are either for war in the name of our government, or you are against war, which means you are treasonous. These are all possibilities, folks. These are all labels. What they're doing is they're trying to label everything correctly so they know who's who. Because as it is right now, they don't really know who their enemies are. Yeah, they're doing mass layoffs in government bureaucracies and all that, and different departments are doing these mass layoffs because they think that they're all Democrats and all that. But the true fact is they'll never really know who's who until they start applying labels. So the labels will start off in society, and then it will go through the government. It won't be like, hey, you're either an atheist or a Christian like next week. They're going to weed out all the people. You're either this or you're this. You're either with us or you're against us. See, this whole boy and girl thing was a test run to see what the feedback would be. Yeah, there's people bitching on Twitter and, if TikTok's back up. But the problem is, nobody gives a shit about that. I know that everybody thinks that their message is being put out when I'm going to voice my opinion. Nobody gives two shits about your opinion on Twitter. And nobody gives two shits about your opinion on Instagram, Facebook, or any of the others. The people that really run all of it, they don't give a shit what you're saying. Okay? That was first. That was a test run. The next one will be, you're either for us or you're against us. You're either this or you're that. And they'll start labeling. That's how a real split in this country will happen. Or not even a split, because it will be a fractional split. There'll be different factions on each side. And everybody always talks about civil war, which, I don't think anybody really understands what civil war was and what it really is. That's not what we'll have, but we will have something reminiscent of it. That movie that was released about a year ago, which was horribly written, because Texas and California would never join forces, no matter what the political party of it is. I've been to both states, and trust me, they're complete opposite people. But that movie, even though it's a horrible plot, through the eyes of the journalists in that movie, seeing how the country is dividing itself is perfect. It's a perfect example of what I'm trying to get across. Because you're starting to label people. It's not you're a Democrat and you're a Republican, but you're a Democrat that's also trans, or you're a Democrat that's also against war, or you're a Democrat that's also Muslim. Well, all you Republican MAGA fans are like, whoa, I'm glad I didn't know those things. But guess what? Some of you are. And some of you will be picked apart too. Because even some of you will wake up and be like, yeah, this one's not really a good idea. Jesus wouldn't be for this. If you actually dug into your mindset and actually understood what Jesus was really talking about, and not just what your right-wing, crazy, conservative pastors are yelling at you, you would realize that some of the things that are being propositioned are completely against the moral and ethical codes of Jesus that walked around this planet 2,000 years ago. And you will be labeled as well. Because gosh forbid that you question and you go, well, I love Donald Trump, but I don't think this is morally right or ethically right by the words in red, the letters in red. Well, guess what? You're now labeled. But see, that doesn't happen anymore. Nobody stands up anymore. Not at least in the Christian groups, from what I've seen for a long time now. We are just 5 days into this. And this is just the beginning. And nobody will ever listen to this. And I really don't care. But we are just 5 days into this. And you will start seeing. I will make a prophecy guess. Not even a guess, because that wouldn't be a guess. I know it's real, because in my experience, this is what I see happening. Labels. We've talked many times on this channel about labels. Many times. And what labels really are. And what they represent. Well, now you're going to see it in your experience. Whether you believe any of this is real or not, you're going to see it. Whether you voted for him or not, like I said, this has nothing to do with that man. It has nothing to do with the other man. It has to do with the voiced opinion of those that are close. Just like when your auntie tells you, hey, drink carrot juice. It's great for your eyes. You say, oh, my aunt, she knows what she's talking about. I'm going to drink some carrot juice. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, George Bush, Obama, Reagan, Carter, all those guys, they all said, oh, this guy over here told me to drink carrot juice. I'm going to drink some carrot juice. If you expect things to change, people better start reading between the thin lines. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I love you all. Walk in light. You're gonna be labeled.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness.